Anyone tried that form? What we discussed in the last session? Anyone tried? Hmm? No one? Okay, let's go. So I open folder. So let's run the application. npm run test. So our form is like login form, right? This is the login form. From here, this is the route. From here, we are loading in the source components login. In the source components login. Okay, this is the component here. Now, this is the component we are loading. Here, what we did, we created one data model. We created one data model, and based on this one, we just render the form. We just render the form. So let me start localhost 3000. So the route is like login is the route. Okay. Now, whenever you click on the button, I want to do some validations, right? So go to the login.tsx. These are my input controls, and this is the button. This is my handle click. Now, can you tell me at the time of clicking on the button, just you are send the request to the server application. Send the request to the server application. Now, if I click on the login, now see it is sending the request to the server application or not. Now, is it recommended one to send the request without data? Without data, you want me to send the request to the server?
No, sir.
No, right? Then what you have to do here, you have to show message. Please enter, please enter user ID. Please enter password. Like this message you have to show, and this request should not go. When that request should go, if the user ID and password valid input parameters, that means valid data entered, then only you have to send the request to the server or not. Understood? For that, what we did last time, for validation purpose, in the config.json, my user ID validation criteria is this one, and my password validation criteria is this one. My user ID validation criteria is this one, and my password validation criteria is this one. This key is user defined keys. You can write any key, no problem. Now, to validate the entered data, the value is what? 0. Okay, empty. That means, so, sorry, it's empty text. If value not there, my validation failed here only. It's required, but data is not there. But if I entered A, now this like past required means some data should be there. Yes, data is there. but it is failed in this particular criteria or not. It's failed in this particular criteria or not. Yes or no? Agree?
Agreed.
Hello, okay. Understood?
Yes.
So I want to define the criteria already defined. That criteria somewhere you have to write programmatically the criteria required means. Okay, the criteria required means what kind of validation you have to do. Criteria email means what kind of validation you have to do. Somewhere you have to define. For that, the common, the input controls, these are the input controls, leave it. Here, form related, form related validations I want to place, or regular expressions, regular expressions. Otherwise, validation criteria dot js. Now here you can mention constant. My validation criteria is equals to first criteria is what? First criteria is what? Anything, any number of criteria you can mention required. First criteria is required. The next criteria is what?
Em-
Email. Okay. The next criteria is what?
Minimum 5 cap.
Minimum 5 characters. Minimum 5 characters. Like this, any number you can write it. So whenever the criteria is like required, you want me to check the value with one of the regular expression. The regular expression key is a regular expression. Anything you can put it, okay? Regular expression. My expression is something like this. Something like this. It means it should have some data. It should have some data or not. Yes or no? It means it should have some data. If you come here, go to the console, it's like false. Anything you can put it's like true or not. Okay, this is my expression. And the error message is what? Uh, please enter input. Please enter input value. Please enter input value. Please enter some input. This is the required related expression and error message. Okay, error message. Same like this for email also. You have to write. This is my expression, and this is my error message. What is my error message? Should be in should be in email format. Email format should be in the email format. Got my point? Okay. Now email expression is what? Email regular expression. Directly, if you're not able to write email JavaScript regular expression, you can take this one. Canada. This is my email regular expression. This is my email regular expression. Done? The next one, minimum 5 characters. Minimum 5 characters. What is the expression? You can put A to Z, 0 to 9. Okay. Any some special characters also you can put it. Otherwise, just you can say dot. Okay. Minimum 5. If we go this or this. Okay. Error message should be minimum 5 characters. Should be minimum 5 characters. Be minimum 5 characters. Here, dot test false. Now it's like true. Anything minimum 5 characters. Okay, minimum 5 characters. Done. My expressions are ready. Okay, my expressions are ready. Now here I want to validate. Okay, I want to validate the form. Okay, at the same time I want to validate the field. So validate. Just you can create validate form.js. Another one is like validate field.js. Okay, I want to validate form and I want to validate the field. Okay, done. Now in the validate field, I want to write one function constant validate field. Validate field. Constant validate field. This is my validate field. What next? This is expecting what? Or this bot is going to expect. Hmm?
For
Validate.
which value we need to validate?
Next one is like validate form. Entire form I want to validate. Okay. If you want to validate the field, first of all, whenever you enter the data, if you go to the login, whenever you enter the data, you can get the event object. From the event object, you can get the value, you can get the name. By using that name, you can find you entered the data in which input control. Okay, once you know the input control, that is like a user area password, you can take the criteria, you can validate that criteria here or not. Yes or no? Agree na? So here I want to call validate field form field, right? So just I want to export. Here also just I want to export. Now go to login.tsx. Here import validate field. Validate field. Hola. Common home builder validate field. Validate field. Same like that. Import validate form. Or from common form builder validate form. Here it form. validate field and validate form. So whenever you do the change that is related to one field, so validate field, that event triggered on which element, that event you can pass it. The next one is like, I want to update or re-render my page with the error messages, if any. So I need the input controls and I need the set input controls also. Because the data object is here and this is the one to update what state variable or not. So these are the three parameters it's going to take. So event object, the next one is like input controls. Next, set input controls. The names can be anything, that's not an issue. Input controls, which type? Can anyone guess? Input controls are like which type? Input controls are like which type? Hmm? Can anyone? Input controls are like which type?
SRINU.
Input controls are like an array type, right? Array of objects or not. That's all. So from the event, I can get event dot target. I can get what name. I can get the name and when. Now by using input controls, I want to do map. Okay, map. I want new input controls, updated input controls actually. Updated input controls. Once I have the updated input controls, that input controls I want to update in my state variable or not. So in my updated input controls, I okay, input controls every time you can get an object, right? Yes or okay, first time first object is nothing but this one. Second object is nothing but this one. You have to take on which input control you perform the operation based on the name you can find it. Yes or no? So in the validation field, if okay, if obj dot name is equals to name, obj dot name equals to what? Name. Then that time, what you have to do? Obj dot name equals to name. Then that time, what we have to do? You have to set the value and you have to check the criteria and you have to keep the error message here or not. Yes or no? Agreed? Tell me. So that if you go to login.this, sorry, field.js, here I want to return all the members of obj. The value I want to override with the value, the error I want to override. Okay, that error I want to get it. Okay, how we can get the error? Based on the criteria, based on the criteria I want to find the error or not. So for that I want to write some logic here. So in the form builder, okay, in the validation criteria, one more method I want to write it. Just I want to export this one. Okay, validate constant validate constant validate. One method I want to write it. If you want to validate with this, okay, this is no need to export. We are going to use here only. If you want to validate, first of all, what you required? What you required? if you want to validate, what you require? Value is required. The next one is like what? Criteria is required or not? Criteria is required. So from the validate field, I want to pass. Okay, first I want to call validate. So import from common within the same folder validation criteria you followed naming convention, save validate criteria its main method is like validate criteria only. Criteria student put like criteria. Okay, here validate. So from here you have to export this one. You have to export this one. Now if you come to the login, validate field, we have the method validate criteria. Here which method is there? Validate is there. Now you can call validate by passing value and criteria. Value is this one, value is this one. Criteria, how you can get it? Obj dot criteria, obj dot criteria. Understood? Obj dot criteria. Okay, so in the validate you have to check. Okay, criteria is which type? For for letter. Okay, the value inside criteria. For in gives me index, for of gives me the value. You can get like okay regular expression required email or something like this. Okay, now once you have the criteria value, what you have to do? From the criteria you can take that criteria, you can take the object, you can take the object. Okay, here also criteria, right? Okay, here from the validations, okay, you have to take the criteria is required or something like this. It returns me what? Validations of required. It returns me what? Returns me an object which contains what? Regular expression and error message or not. Okay, now you have to check if my regular expression dot test of value is not true. It is not true means if it is like false object true, return error message, return error message. Okay, and then break it, and then break it, and then break it. Now, else else return empty, else return empty. Okay, already it is written right. So that you think not required break, just simply print. You can get the error message if it is there, otherwise empty one. So in the validation field, you can get the error. Whatever the updated data is there, that updated data you can show. Okay. Now, if you go to input, if you input, go to input component, you have multiple fields. You have the error also. You have the value. You can set the value here. Value equals to value. Now the error is this one. Okay. Now can you check it? Module node cannot resolve console. That's okay. In the okay, resolve console, the validation field. This is the one. Just hit it. Now, if I enter some value, okay, it should be in the email format. If you remove this one, right, remove this one, then that time it's an error. We can fix that. If I remove this, what is the error you are getting? Cannot read property of undefined reading name. So if you come here, yeah, cannot read property of undefined reading name. Why this should not be right? Now, if you see the input controls are there, okay, second input control is like undefined. Why it is undefined means this is an object. If it is not, you have to return, okay, normal object. Return normal object. Okay, now it should be good. Now it should be good. If I remove this, can I refresh the page? I enter some data, should be in the email format. If I remove this, please enter input value. Now should be minimum 5 characters. If I remove, please enter input. Now see, it's gone. Okay, ss at the rate gmail.com, it's gone. Yes or no? Working? Hmm? Now, if I click on the login, you want like this, the error message is there. You want me to, if the error message is there, you want me to go with this? You want this,
Without error message, we
right?
need.
If the error message is there, you have to show the error message or not.
Yes.
So you have to validate the form first. Whenever you click on the button, you have to validate the form. So you can go to validation criteria. You can go to the login. Here you have to do validate form. How you want me to do the validate form? You have to give the inputs and set input controls or not. Okay. Total form I want to validate. So input controls and set controls and set input controls. Understood? Okay. Okay, here what code you need to do? In the input controls, every object I want to validate. So my input controls dot map, you can get an object every time. Okay, this object I have to validate. So you have to return whatever the obj is there. You have to written whatever the obj is there. I want to do something like error. Error. I want to validate. So here how we can validate? Validate is the method. Here what do you want me to validate? Obj dot value and obj dot criteria. Obj dot value and obj dot criteria. Now it gives me updated input controls. It gives me updated input controls. Now you can return updated input controls, not set input controls, right? Set input controls like what? My updated input controls or not. So if you come here, you cannot resolve console again. This console is coming every time. Now if I refresh the page, if I click on the login, say still request is going, but this time messages are visible or not. Not only messages, the request also should not go, right? If the username and password were not entered, yes or no? Now messages are visible, that's okay, agreed. But the username and password, okay, if not entered, you should not send the request or not. Yes or no? So that here I want to do something. I want to send, okay, some data back. What is the data? Is form valid? Is form valid or not? And my data object also, is form valid or not, I want to check it. And my data object also I want to pass it. So data object, how we can constant, my data obj is equals to an object. Okay, here in my data, what do you want me to take? Constant data obj of obj dot name is equals to obj 12. This is my data. I want to send the data object. I want to send the data object. What is the message? Redeclare. Redeclare block scope. Cannot redeclare block scope. We not redeclare, right? Okay, here the it can pass. This is not the case. We have to return that. We have to return it. Return. What do you want me to return? I want to return one array. That array is like data object. That array is like what? Data object. The next one is like, is form valid or not? Constant is form valid equals to, from the updated input controls. Okay, minimum one error message is there. Okay, error. Okay, minimum one error message is there. Okay, that means, okay, minimum one error message is there, that is like invalid or valid, invalid, right? So some I'm looking for minimum one error message is nothing but from obj dot error. Obj dot error is there, form is valid or invalid, is form invalid, is form invalid. Okay, now it returns me what? Is form invalid and data object. Okay, so validate form returns me an array. Validate form returns me an array. So go to login.tsx. Validate form returns me an array. Validate form returns me an array. Something like this. Constant, constant. Now, is form invalid? If is form invalid, then don't do anything, just return it. If form is like valid, then that time send this data to the server application or send this data to the server application. Now see, if I refresh the page, if I click on the login, see there is no request, nothing is going. No request, nothing is going. Now here, see request is not going. Should be in the email format. Should be in the email format. Still, it's not a valid one. Now should be still not valid. Still my request is not going. Still my request is not going. Now if I write something like this, now my request is going or not, and with data, with this data or not. So why that is not printed? See this. This is the data we are sending to the server application. Done. My validations are done. Yes or no? Agreed, huh?
Yes.
Okay, simple validation is done. You can write anything, any criteria now. Okay, just you have to add that criteria. Now see, my request is going or not going. See this.
Not.
Not,
Not going.
not because still I have an error or not. Yes or no. Now my request should go right. Now my request should go or not. See, my request is going with which data? This is the data. Okay, na?
Oh,
Okay. I'll upload this one. You can practice. Okay, all the videos uploaded. You can check. Okay.
okay.